Good evening and welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster. I'm with the lovely
Just starting. Our fabulous guests today are Simon,
Lauren,
and Shay.
Okay, we've got Lauren and Shay with us today. So a massive thank you for both of you for coming on. It's really quite short notice, and we'll get into why it's so short notice and all higgledy-piggledy as we go on.
Yeah,
but first, massive thank you for coming on.
We shoved along a few weeks and everything for accommodating them, but we needed this to be today.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening and they want to comment and join in with us, that would be amazing. We love it when people pass comments and things like that. So the very first thing we do is we shout out to the kids, any little people who've done amazing things this week. San, do you want to go first or do you want me to?
You can go first, Hel, today.
Okay, so I'd like to say a big, massive shout out to all year 6 in all the little year 6s in Fazackley Primary. So we've been in today with Whack-a-Ball and they're all leaving, aren't they, next week? And so that's the dog scratching under the table move. So yeah, all the little year 6s were amazing today. And you just think, oh, they're all going into seniors, aren't they? And so I just said, like, have a boss summer holidays and everything. So massive shout out to all and every little year 6 who's around. So Marco boys listening in. Marco is in London, sunnyish London. So ciao. What's hello?
Ciao in Italian.
hello.
Peter Lloyd's listening in, our past guest Peter Lloyd, and he says evening also. Big evening to her, Peter. What's your little shout out to the little people this week, Sam?
Well, we went to St. John Vianney School in Manchester on Wednesday, and they were amazing. And we had a lovely time with them, and they were great. And we took our product Lou along, and they all engaged and played it, and it was just superb. So massive shout out to that school.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal school. Lauren, what is your little shout out to the little people this week?
I wonder if they put a photo up and got off.
I think they have.
I think they have, definitely. They have. There we go. Go on. We can hear you now, Lauren. Have you got a shout out for anyone this week?
It's gone down on yours.
Okay.
I think we've got a little bit of a time delay. Go, Lauren.
Sorry.
Don't apologise.
We lost you a little bit there.
That's okay. We've got you back now. Sorry, what were you saying?
So mine would be for my little boy Nathaniel and his class friends. So he goes to the Royal School for the Blind, and Nathaniel got Star of the Week this week for his music therapy. So yeah, that's my little shout out.
Oh,
brilliant. What about you, Che?
My shout out will probably go to the little footy team that I coach with. The little under-9s team, Prescott Cable, the team I used to play for a few years ago. And he's just been doing boss recently, so well done to them.
Brilliant. Loads of little people doing amazing things. So Little World on the Loch is Anthony Strode, who was one of our past guests. And he says, yo, Che Morgan, Sandra, Scott, Helen Webster, great work, legends. And then Marco, it's a short-lived appearance as he's out at dinner. Well done. He's waiting for his guests and our live feed popped up. Well in, Marco.
That's very London, isn't it?
Very London. I hope you're all right, and we'll definitely catch up. So, success of the week for you personally, something cool that's happened to you as a person. I'm going to go first, and if that's okay.
Well, then, that's okay.
So I'm going to shout out to our afternoon tea on Sunday. We were able to go to an afternoon tea that my mum and all her mates organised as a fundraiser for a domestic violence charity, and it was just great to have like loads of people in the room. I think it was 63 women, all supporting the charity, all had afternoon tea. So massive shout out to my mum and all her mates. What about you, San?
Yeah, that was great. And as a result of that, we were contacted by someone who wanted to volunteer to help with one of the charities. So that was great as well. Well, I had a lovely morning, actually. Do you remember Cal and Claire, who we had on the show from Leading Ladies in Business? They invited me to be a guest speaker at their event this morning and got me flowers, which I know And I just thought, how nice is that? So I was delighted. It was a while since I've had flowers. So I was thrilled to bits. So I had a lovely morning, really enjoyed it. So that was my success today, and it went very well. People were very complimentary about my talk, Helen. You wouldn't believe it.
Brilliant. I love that. Excellent. Well done. Well done. What about you, Lauren? What's your success this week?
Oh, so yeah, my success would be coming here, doing this. This is a big for me, you know, being able to talk to you guys. So yeah, and obviously just promoting Nathaniel's story is always my big success, really, and trying to spread awareness on this, I suppose, which I'm sure we'll go into a little bit more soon. So,
of course, and we're looking forward to hearing everything.
100%. Jay, what's your success?
I think this is another highlight because I found out it's at 7:30 this morning that I was going to be jumping on this. Like I didn't even realise, but yeah. So that was a bit of an interesting one. Well, I'll go with this as well. This was the one surprise of the week.
Oh,
brilliant! Thank you very much, and yeah, again, thanks for both for joining on at like short notice. So we're going to play this or that. All right, we're going to ask you 2 little questions, this or that, dead simple, dead easy, no pressure. Okay, so I'm going to ask Lauren first. Okay, so massive thank you to Complete Tech Solutions Northwest Limited, who were sponsoring the show for the month of July. So I'm going to do a bit of a techie question. Okay, don't worry, it's not that techie. Okay, if you've got a laptop, do you prefer using the mouse pad on the laptop, or do you put a proper old-fashioned like clicky mouse in?
Definitely the mouse pad. I wouldn't even know what to do with one of those mice anymore. Yeah,
I know. What about you, Shay?
Yeah, I'm the same. I go with the pad. Don't know about them mice. Like I haven't used one for that long. Usually, used to have a cord on it, so
yeah, you did. Yeah.
Get wild.
What about you, Sam?
Now, like they are half decent, but no, I think the mouse pad will do.
If I go to a computer now and it's got a mouse at the side, I don't know what to do with it. Because I just because I forgot to use my laptop all the time like that.
I know. I'm the same mouse like pad as well, yeah. But lots of people have like, funny shaped ones because they ergonomically fit the hands and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, to use a mouse is like unbelievable.
It's weird as hell. I don't like it. I don't even like the name of it, as you know, because I'm phobic of rodents.
No.
Go on, San, your go.
Okay then. A techie question now. We're struggling, and Mark Barrett from Complete Tech Solutions, who sponsors us, he knows I'm not remotely techie, so he'll be laughing his head off. Would you rather have a piece? This isn't very interesting. Would you rather have a desktop or a normal PC? What the hell are they? A desktop or a laptop?
Or a laptop.
I'm so untechnical. I'm just an embarrassment. A desktop or a laptop?
Who you're asking?
You.
Laptop.
Laptop, 100%. Sarah Brown's listening in.
Yeah.
And Sarah Brown goes,
hi, Sarah.
I'm old school. I love a proper mouse.
And
a desktop.
I can see it like a proper mouse, yeah.
And a desktop. I'm laptop. What are you, Lauren?
Oh. Definitely laptop, definitely, yeah.
Brilliant. What about you, Chai?
I'll just go the other way. I'll go PC. Go ahead then. I'll go the personal computer, the big massive one that's in the room.
Is Xbox. What about you, San?
Brilliant. 100% PC for me, defo.
PC?
I mean, laptop. I can't even speak. Sorry, it's because we're up. Tell me this question again. My question.
It was your question. Do you want a laptop?
That's why So I'd just like to say that bizarrely, Lauren and Shay thought they were coming on to some professional show this evening. I did try and explain. Yeah. No, I'd already said laptop. That's why you threw me.
Oh, sorry.
Laptop, it's okay.
Okay. My mum's listening in, and my mum goes, "Hi everyone. The success was it was £650 for the domestic abuse service.
Wow.
And then they also did £100 for the young boy who needs a prosthetic hand. So the little boy there was a lady selling clothes as well, and all the money was going to that. And £50 to the West Derby Bowling Club for letting us have the venue as well. So brilliant, well done. So Anthony Strode says, I'm obviously signing in on my personal to boost the engagement. Fair play.
Oh, well done, he's ace.
Well done him. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm going to ask Che this first. Okay. Would you rather
Right.
hike or bike? So would you rather go up the mountain on a bike or go up the mountain on your legs? On your legs, using your legs.
Do you know what? Funny enough, when we done a hike a couple of months ago, wasn't it? It was a month or so ago.
May.
Yeah, we done it in May, and we went up Snowdon. And my little nephew was saying, he came with us, and my little nephew was sitting over there now. He was saying that he reckons he could pedal up that mountain. And I was just saying to him, listen, you've got absolutely no chance on earth that you're going to be able to get up there. So I'd definitely rather hike up a mountain than a bike it.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see him try.
What about you, Lauren?
I done the hike, but from our experience, I think I'd rather be the supporter on the sidelines, like cheering people on. Yeah, that'd be me, yeah.
Well done, I've made you a beautiful packed lunch. Exactly.
Yeah. There's a drink at the end, yeah.
Bevy.
Hike or bike, Sam?
Hike. Well, I used to love cycling when I was young, but I'm literally petrified of falling off the thing now. I'm absolutely, and my son said, you're not going on a bike, mother. And I met this guy who does fits people to bikes, and I was talking to him about it on Friday. And I said, I'd really love to cycle, because when you go to Holland, everyone's on a bike. There's 70-year-olds all on a bike everywhere. But it's flat. It's dead flat, which is significant. So if we're walking anywhere, if we're going up mountains, it's definitely hiking. When I got to the top of Snowdon, I actually felt animosity towards people who'd got the train, though. I was like, that. It's unkind, isn't it?
I tried to get the train halfway up, didn't I? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, definitely hike for me. I'm not a lover of a bike. Go on, Sam, your last question, and then we'll move it over to them.
Okay, my last question's completely different. And this, you might find this an interesting one, Shay. Would you rather have a candle or a wax melt? She's like, what have I just been asked? Go on, Helen.
Well, I'd rather have one of them oil diffusers. If I could choose, I'd have one of them oil diffusers. Can I throw another one in there with a little candle underneath it? The little candle underneath it, and you put the oil in the hot water, and can you have one of them instead?
Of course, you can have what you like. It's your house.
Can you have a joystick?
Joysticks, yeah, joysticks. I lit a joystick before.
Yeah. Go on, Helen. What would you rather have?
Well, wax melts. What are they called? Wax derby melts. Who were at my mum's thing on Sunday. Well, my mum bought us a diffuser and some wax melts. But she bought the wax melts for herself, but I thought they were for me. So I said, oh, they're nice. That smells lovely. So she gave them to me. And I lit one yesterday, and the smell is unbelievable. The smell was just so I do love a little wax melt.
It did smell.
I love a little wax melt.
What about you?
What about you, Lauren?
I think candles, just because they last a bit longer, don't they? Think a candle.
Yeah.
Candles, definitely.
Candle. Yeah,
I definitely prefer candles. Okay.
There you go. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to hand this over now to Lauren and Che. Sorry. So Beverly, who was on our show a good couple of months ago, wasn't it? Maybe a couple of years ago. Was it about 18 months ago now? Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. It was a while. Beverly and the sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, and is it her brother-in-law who did the walk?
I'm not sure, but Andrew. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Brother-in-law. It was him who. Well, he's just got involved, and he just said, these other people have been doing everything. It's just he thought, let's try and see if we can get a bit of publicity for it. That's sort of what happened. And he explained to me that it's Shay who's been leading on it, and he's done other events previously and everything, and was telling us. So basically, they just asked if we'd share a post. That's what happened. Yeah. Beverly messaged us, didn't she, and said, would you share this? And I said, yes, certainly. And that's what we did. And then I read it. Well, I read it obviously before I shared it. I read it all and I thought, oh, hang on. This is something a bit different that needs a bit of support. So what we'd love you to do is to take it away, really. We'll interrupt you constantly and ask you loads of questions. So maybe if we start, first of all, with Lauren, And Lauren, you tell us what this is about, why you're here, what's happening, and how this all started. And then Shay, you can speak to us about what you're doing to help, why, and how everybody can help you, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to help or support in one way or another.
100%.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Thanks very much for having us. So
Yeah.
So yeah, my little boy is Nathaniel. He's 5. He's absolutely amazing, but he has had a difficult life so far, bless him. So he has severe epilepsy. He's got a very rare condition. It's called a mitochondrial disorder. They are very, very rare, but it leaves with lots of severe symptoms. And the one that's been the worst for Nathaniel, unfortunately, has been the epilepsy. And he was 3 months old. He had a huge seizure that we just couldn't stop in the hospital with conventional medication. It was really awful for him. And we spent 3 months in hospital from when he was 3 months old. We lived there until he was 7 months old. And during that time, we tried 10 medications, lots of nasty side effects. And a doctor said to me one day, the prognosis isn't great. And we weren't sure we were going to get out of hospital. And this was back in 2018, and at that time, the law had just been changed, actually, to be able to prescribe medicinal cannabis for certain things on the NHS. So his consultant at the time, he was great. You know, I'm really thankful. He applied and got Nathaniel a prescription for CBD. So it was a product that had just been authorised on the NHS, but it was just CBD. Anyway, it was the first time we'd seen any promise type of thing from a response to reducing Nathaniel's seizures. He was having anything up to 100 a day at the time, and they reduced down to about 10. And honestly, I think that's this particular product, that's how we got out of hospital, that medication. He probably wouldn't have come home. Sorry. But as a result, so obviously then that made me go, cannabis, I need to learn more. And unfortunately, that product stopped working after about 3 or 4 months. So I approached the trust that he's with, and I asked them to prescribe something a bit stronger, a more full. They call it a full extract product. So it contains not just CBD, but the full extract of the cannabis plant. And although it was legal, they didn't prescribe. So I took him private. There's a lot more in between that. This is just the short, condensed story. So I took him to a private hospital. And the neurologist there prescribed, God love her, she was amazing. And so he's had a private prescription now for 4 years, and he's actually free of large seizures. He doesn't have the life-threatening seizures anymore. They completely stopped within a month. He still has seizure activity, but we're no longer spending time in hospital. We're no longer having to phone ambulances. And despite the success, I'm locked in a bit of a battle to try and get a prescription. And it costs us just under £1,500 a month. You know, it's not achievable. It's not sustainable. So this is where lots of lovely people have come in and helped us. You know, I've had massive support from MPs, and I've been to Parliament trying to lobby Parliament, because the law has changed. Doctors are able to prescribe it, but there's just a bit of a stigma around.
So hang on a minute.
Cannabis.
Lauren, this is what I don't get. So the medication is being approved in our country. They've said it's okay.
In 2018.
There are some people who are prescribed this medication, but for whatever reason, the trust in our area, because of where you live maybe or something, they won't prescribe it for your child. But you can get it if you pay for it.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's just our area. I'm actually part of a campaign group called End Our Pain, which is it's numerous parents from up and down the country whose children are actually benefiting from medicinal cannabis, but they're having to pay for it on a private prescription. There's something severely gone wrong within the system. In terms of prescribing it, whether that be a fear from the doctors or, you know, there's a lot of different barriers, a lot of factors. And, you know, I do think, unfortunately, there needs to be education to the doctors as well. We do have support from my doctor. My doctor does want to prescribe, and we are looking at other routes to enable that to happen. but it is actually, the product Nathaniel has is actually prescribed to 3 other children. So that's why I'm really frustrated, because obviously, rightly so, I'm so happy for them children, they deserve that. But we're paying £1,500 a month to keep my son well, to keep him out of hospital. And I'll be honest, not just well, you know, we're keeping him alive, and that's being expressed to me by the doctors. So,
but it's also the cost implications. If he wasn't to have this medicine, if he wasn't to have this particular medicine, then the cost of, you know, having ambulances out and you know, the sort of ripple effect of the cost on the NHS, you know, if he wasn't to have the medication. So is the hospital, the other 3 little people who take this medication, are they in the northwest, or is this all around the country? Is this the whole of the UK?
The London and Ireland. I'm actually really close to one of the parents. I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning it, because she, even though she's got a prescription, she's gone on to realises how fortunate she is in the position that she's in, and she's really trying to help us campaign. She's an amazing lady, absolutely amazing lady, and she's got a page as well, which, you know, she's a patient advocate now. That's what she's done with her life, because she wants to help all these other children. So so they are in the UK. It can be done. You were just mentioning the cost implications. My GP actually done a cost analysis, so we pay £1,473 a month for his medication. And our GP done a cost analysis, and Nathaniel used to spend months in intensive care. And for one night in intensive care, in an intensive care bed, it was £1,880. So it's more for one night in an intensive care. Yeah, so it's so frustrating. I try and see it from both sides, you know, from the doctors. But unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever fully be able to understand why my son hasn't got a prescription. It's so, and we won't stop until he gets one. But
yeah, and you do very, very well, Lauren, because you speak very eloquently about it, and you're trying to be impartial and kind when you know your child's suffering. And you've actually been down and lobbied Parliament, haven't you? As part of the group.
Yes, we've met. As part of End Our Pain, we handed in a petition. It had over 750,000 signatures. Was it 2019? We handed that petition into Downing Street, and we met the then health secretary at the time, Matt Hancock, and unfortunately he did give us some positive news, but it never really followed through because of changes in Parliament, etc. I won't go into all that, but it never materialised. And so we've got support of, I think it's over 80 cross-party MPs. So this isn't just a one-sided party, it's all MPs recognising that these children need help from across parties. So we have got a lot of support, but somewhere in the middle, something's just not breaking through. So things like this really help us to spread awareness, you know, and to talk about it, because it is helping these children. But
you're racing against the clock. Sorry.
In Nathaniel's case, definitely. You know, I'm under no illusion in 5-10 years' time, this will be a first-line treatment for children with epilepsy. It is in every other country, to be honest. If you went to another country and you had a child with severe epilepsy, their first-line treatment is medicinal cannabis. In the likes of, you know, the Netherlands, Israel, Germany now, everywhere is using that as a first-line treatment. And I'm under no illusion that we will get there one day. But for Nathaniel, we say about time. He is under palliative care. He's a very poorly little boy. We have nearly lost him on many occasions, and it's purely by adding THC and a stronger element of cannabis that he's still here. So 100%. It's been our miracle, really has.
Of course it has.
And that's why, you know, we need to maintain the costs, but that's extremely difficult.
Of course, and you need to look after your child as well, and you can't be out working 6 in the morning till midnight trying to raise the money for that. You know, the problem is you need to care for him as well. You know, and he needs a lot of care.
And you know, we spend time with him, don't we, for whatever time we have. And he's just an amazing, honestly, he's amazing. You know, I've seen the change in him as well. It's not just that he's here and he's alive. He's just such a happy little boy. He has such a good quality of life now. You know, within his restrictions, he's got severe disabilities, but he's just amazing. And it just, we just want to make sure we're creating precious memories with them at that time, not out fundraising and trying to, it's difficult, isn't it?
So is Nathaniel 5 now? Is that right?
He is 5. He is. And, again, that's another miracle in itself. We were told he might not make it past his 2nd birthday because of the disorder that he has, and he's here, fighting the odds, and he's amazing. And that's why we're supported by, I think we'll probably speak about it a little bit, but we're supported by an amazing charity called the Charlie Garth Foundation. And they...
say that again. Say it again slowly.
Oh, sorry, we're supported by an amazing charity who only support children with mitochondrial disorders. It's called the Charlie Garth Foundation. And that was set up after their little boy Charlie unfortunately passed away from his mitochondrial disorder. He passed away just before his 1st birthday, but his family, his parents are amazing. And again, through all these heartache and pain, people go on to help others, don't they? And they'd fundraised a lot of money for a treatment for him, which may have helped. Unfortunately, things happened and the treatment wasn't offered quickly enough. But then they had this pot of money, so that they've gone on to help other children like him. But we've had massive support for them, but they are a charity, and like with all charities, because of COVID and the pandemic, everywhere took a bit of a hit, didn't it? So,
100%.
They help us so much, not just financially, emotionally as well. But they're not going to be able to do that forever. So that's why we have to continuously keep fundraising for the charity, which in turn helps Nathaniel. So, and other children as well. Yeah.
Brilliant, Sarah Brown's listening. She says he's our little warrior. And James Lee, he says he's daddy's little fighter.
That's his dad,
Amazing. So I think you were talking about fundraising and stuff like that. And so I think that quite nicely leads into why Shay is with us today. So Shay, do you want to introduce yourself, how you got involved with the charity and what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, well, I met Lauren maybe a couple of
years ago,
now,
probably just at the beginning of the pandemic, wasn't it? When we were struggling to fundraise and things, and my family are just amazing, and set up lots of big events, and Shay was part of them. So
I've been lucky enough to be involved in a number of them. Two to be exact. The last one we done was in May, and it was up Snowdon. It was amazing, lovely day. Just an incredible experience for myself and for everybody involved in it. It was very well organised by our Sabs.
I'll say that.
So she's done a great job with that. And again, prior to that, there was a coal walk in a where I used to work with Sapphire Walk. Where I used to work with Sarah, which was Little World, which is Anthony's old business. So
we all walked on fire.
So that was great. I got involved. I've been involved in a minor way to a degree for a while, but I had the idea myself personally of just having a bike ride, which is something I'd done previous. I've done Liverpool to Conway, and then we stayed over the night and we done Conway back to Liverpool. This was about 7 years ago, but I've always wanted to do it again, or some sort of distance or somewhere or other. And then it shows Nathaniel and Charlie Garth Foundation as the thing that I would raise the money for. I was speaking to my brother, and my brother's brought his friend on, and then we spoke to Sarah, and then things started to just snowball, and then it started to bring us into where we are now, sitting in front of you two. Do you know what I mean? So very grateful for it, because everybody's jumped on board, and we're just trying our best to bring it as far as we can now for this event in itself.
So can I ask why you want to do it again?
I just loved it the first time we done it. It was amazing. So that was great as well. The opportunity to do it again was great. Also, maybe leading on to doing a further one. I'd like to do something a bit further again as well.
Amazing. So how many people are signed up for the bike ride at the moment?
We've got, I'd say, about 15 on board at the moment. who've given us the okay. So, yeah, we're looking good for numbers and trying to get it moving forward. Yeah.
Brilliant. And is anybody can
We're welcome for
anybody
anybody
join in
else
the
to
bike
jump
ride?
on as well if there's any viewers or anybody wants to learn about it over. Anybody at all, yeah. Anybody who's viewing it today or it goes out to and sees the video, they're more than welcome to get in touch with myself or anybody else who's organising the thing, and we can explain exactly what's going to be going on. And we've got a Facebook page sorted out, which outlines all the details, the smaller details and stuff. So it's pretty easy for everybody to find and get in touch with. And we can organise anything with anybody if they want to jump on board. Yeah.
Brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll share the link of the Facebook page, and if anybody wants to get involved, and so there'll be lots of different ways of getting involved. So you can get involved by actually cycling yourself, but I'm sure there's other roles along the way that people can get involved in.
Yeah, and Andrew was talking
Definitely,
about that. Sorry. Go on, Shay.
Sorry, I was just going to say that even just by passing it down the line, posting, obviously donating, these things all help. They pass along the message, they're raising awareness for the cause. And then for me, it's a great thing for people to come and do on a regular basis anyway, because it's great for your mental health. It's great for connecting, networking, speaking to other people, it's just a great day in general. It just happens to be that we're doing it for a cause, which unfortunately we've got to do it for. But, you know, we're more than happy to do it. So, yeah.
It's so long.
Anything helps.
How long will it take about to do 70 miles on a bike?
It's all
debatable.
That depends, doesn't it? Yeah. I think we completed it. I don't know for certain, but I think we completed it in about 7-8 hours last time.
You'd have to stop off.
There was no racing involved. There was nobody trying to get to the end quick as they possibly could in that instance, and it'll be the same this time. Yeah. So as long as it takes, as long as it takes to get there.
So Shara's listening in and she says, anyone else want to throw their hands in the bucket for the bike ride? And she says, can anyone give her a takey?
Definitely. So we're going to share a few things. So we're going to share the page for Facebook as well. We'll do that after the show. Now, and you were saying about the fundraising, etc. So there's different pages, isn't there? So Andrew he tagged his page for fundraising. Are you all raising as a collective group for the bike ride then? So if we just share that one, that's good for everyone, is it?
So Nathaniel's actually got his own fundraising page with the Charlie Gard Foundation. But I think the reason people are doing lots of individual ones is because they want to sort of, it all goes into that same pot, basically. It's linked back to that pot. But it's got, I mean, we've done amazing. The amount, when I think back of what people have done, it's just so heartwarming. We've already fundraised around £40,000, which is in that pot, which is just amazing. But Nathaniel's medication have already cost us £67,000. So we're already in quite a deficit. Do you see what I mean? So this is going to be an ongoing thing until I can somehow get him an NHS prescription. So everyone does on individual fundraising page, but it all funnels back into that pot. So whilst we've raised a lot of money, we're already in a little bit of a deficit, and that's where the Charlie Gard Foundation have just been so amazing and helped us. So so it will all go directly to the Charlie Gard Foundation, who then pay Nathaniel's monthly bill every month. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was, when you were talking before, I worked it out and I thought you're just under 18 grand a year you need, don't you, just for the medication?
Yeah.
Now, without
medication, and then on that as well, on that as well, like Nathaniel's a little boy, and you'll know, well, with any medication, it's done on your weight. It's based on the weight of the person. So as he gets bigger, it's likely going to cost us more. So we have to account for that as well. You know, this is why I try everything behind the scenes from my end to lobby the government to have meetings with, NHS chiefs and try everything my end to get her an NHS prescription, because ultimately that's the goal. Us fundraising now, this is hopefully just a short-term interim until we can, get the prescription, which is the right thing for them long term. So, and in the interim, we've just got loads of lovely people helping us, and it's just so amazing. Yeah.
And what did you do as your job before you had the baby?
Yeah, I was a mortgage advisor, so massive change. I mean, obviously, anyone having a baby, it's a massive shock to the system anyway, isn't it? But I had to come out of work, obviously, so it's massively different on your finances, and it's been a shock. And then having to find, I don't think anyone in the current climate could find £1,500 a month, could they really?
No. You probably never thought. Sorry, you probably never thought when you were a mortgage advisor that you'd be going down to meet Matt Hancock and petitioning for changes in the country.
Yeah.
And this is what our show is massively all about. It's ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And like you were saying about the lady you met who has the medication for her child, but she's still trying to support everyone else.
She is, Hannah. Yeah, she's amazing. She's a really big advocate in the medicinal cannabis community, because it's not just for children with epilepsy as well. It's been legalised for 4 different things. It's just not prescribed, and that's a massive failing that needs to be looked into. So, yeah.
Definitely. So if anybody's listening in who maybe has got some, knowledge on it or anything like that, then you don't just have to help us in the fundraising side of it. You can help in like the lobbying side of it as well, So Melanie Brutus is listening in, and she's she was on our show from Down Syndrome Liverpool, and she's put such an inspiring story. Send us the link with the details. I'd be happy to get involved in some way, and happy to share through Down Syndrome Liverpool too. They're amazing. They do loads of amazing things, and you do tend to find that lots of people who are involved in little communities and groups that love to support and help everybody else. So yeah. So the bike ride. Okay, we're going to do the bike ride. And what date is the bike ride set, or is it about to be set?
No, it's set on the date of the 12th of August, so we're just roughly off a month.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's the date.
So have you been doing any training for this?
No, unfortunately, no. But the only thing I've done myself is gone and recce the route a little bit, which was I done 15 miles out of Frodsham and then done 15 miles back. But I fancy my chances. I don't know about everybody else, but I fancy my chances with it.
Amazing.
How many people at the moment have you got signed up to do the bike ride with you?
We've got round about 15, round about the 15 figure we've got so far. So yeah, we've got a decent figure so far. We're hoping for it to grow, because we're hoping for that to grow. But there's a couple of people who I'm still in conversation with and that as well. So for definite, yeah, we're looking around 15 people. So we've also got some people who are helping out in different ways. Sorry, love.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so we've also got a couple of different things organised in terms of we've got a van, and that's being supplied by Drivalia. So we can have a couple of spare bikes in the back if anybody does manage to come across and get a puncture or whatever. We can have somebody who's going to be alongside. We switch the bikes. We've got a bit of organisation gone into the logistics being thought about and stuff. We've got somebody in a minivan as well, 7-seater minivan, who's going to drive ahead to each checkpoint, and then every time we get to a checkpoint, there can be refreshments resupplied into the backpacks and things like that. So yeah, it's looking good so far.
Amazing. So Andy Maybury's listening in, and he says we're going to be doing checkpoints every 2 hours. So, can people, if they wanted to, possibly maybe just go to the first checkpoint or join at the last checkpoint and cross the finish line and pretend they've done it all?
Well, yeah, the thing we were thinking about is there's potentially people, for instance, over the water, then they could meet us at a certain checkpoint. It'd be a lesser distance for them, but it wouldn't really matter. We were going to be hitting the same route at some point eventually, so yeah, we could meet other people. At the end, we'll have a meeting with everybody anyway, get some nice pictures and everybody have a chat and greeting, things like that. So yeah, it'd be great. Anybody who wants to get involved, there'll be a bonus. It's amazing for anybody to just want to come on and do the ride with us, you know what I mean? Get involved in whatever way you can, boss.
And it's a Saturday as well.
I know when we've done any fundraising events before. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. I was just saying, I know when we've done any fundraising events, there's just such a lovely vibe about the day, such a sense of achievement afterwards, and like it's just lovely. It's a night. They're always just really lovely, positive days, and I've met some of the most wonderful people. Honestly, it's restored my faith in humankind. You know what I mean? Doing these days and meeting just lots of lovely people who want to help and like-minded people. So it's just a nice day in general, isn't it? So
do you know what? I just think there are so many decent people out there. People are just so kind. And, you know, not everyone's got a lot of money to give, but £1, if someone can give £1, you know, I was thinking that we're not shy of 3,000 followers on here now. And I thought, you know, £1 is so much money, isn't it? If everybody could give £1, that would be fantastic. It's £1,800 medication for a month. But because we're sponsored by Complete Tech Solutions this month, each month now we're being sponsored, it just covers the cost of the StreamYard and everything because we do this voluntarily. We decided to, didn't we, Helen, to donate £50 because our little fund we've got together each month is to make someone be successful, to help someone be successful in the city. So we thought, well, you know, it's worthy, isn't it, to make him be successful. So if we donate that to the bike ride, then specifically, we'll do that after the show and we'll share the link with everybody. Okay.
Very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice one.
It's not much, but it's a start, isn't it? It just helps.
No, it's amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
So Sarah Tramarco's listening, and she says, Sandra and Helen, don't you want to come and do it?
Oh,
and then she's thought, I can see the pair of them, so I'll put another little thing. And she says, checkpoint crew. I'm more than happy to come and be a motivator and be a checkpoint crew.
I'd be checkpoint. Yeah, definitely. No, I thought I'd help. I'm very good at making butties and practical things like that, but not cycling. God,
I can drive a minibus, so I'm more than happy to drive the minibus.
I can out water.
So Beverly says, great idea to put the checkpoints out with rough time frames so people can jump on, which is great, I think. Andrew Maybury, thanks ladies very much. Every penny counts. James Leahy, thank you, and Sarah, that's so kind. And Andy, he likes butties.
I like butties. Yeah. There we go.
Amazing. So apart from the bike ride, are there any other charity events coming up or anything maybe not as extravagant as the bike ride? Are there any sort of like little local things that people can get involved in?
Yeah, so I know that my cousin Sarah, she's amazing. She does loads of fundraising ideas for us. She's always working on something. Bless her. We've just recently had the Snowden, haven't we? And we're doing the bike ride. And sometimes I do get a little bit worried about doing lots of events and asking for lots of money. But I think we are having talk of a charity night coming soon. So I can definitely pass details on of that when it's a bit more confirmed. But there's always there's always lots of little things. And anyone who wants to do something little themselves, we'd be so appreciative, whether that be a little bake sale or anything at all. We're just grateful for any ideas because we have been at this 4 years, and it can be quite, I get quite embarrassed by it, I'll be honest with you. I never saw this happening. So, and I do worry asking for people all the time. So, but my family are amazing and they do have things organised regularly. So we can keep in touch about that. Thank you.
Do you know what? If you're able to lobby Parliament to the point that this is, as Helen was saying before, it's massively cost effective. If you're able to do that, you won't need to fundraise anymore. If they can supply it through the government, you won't need to do that at all, and you won't be asking
and that is,
you know, and people
and
have
that's the end goal. And obviously I'm never going to stop until that happens, but there's a lot of hurdles to cross, and you know, but I've got a lot of support from the right people, so
and the support of others, the kindness and love of others and support helps people get through things, doesn't it, and gives them energy. So just shout out to all the supporters and everyone you've got helping you as well. Brilliant.
Amazing.
So Andrew Maybury says he was thinking Tough Mudder. Amazing. I've done Tough Mudder. I'll do Tough Mudder with you. I'm more than happy to do that.
There you go.
Yes. I'll do that with you. I've got the tattoo and everything.
Send it live now, so there's no backing on that one.
There's evidence now.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that one. I'm happy days with that. But yeah, if anybody wants to get involved, you know, like Jay was saying before, he's got like a little footy club where he does, you know, if there's any sort of like little local charities who want to do a little. Oh, Sarah says I can have a place on Tough Mudder. I'll do it if you do it. Yeah, anybody get involved, you know, like little bake sales or little raffles, absolutely anything, little car boot sales. There's loads of different activities. And I do get where you're coming from, Lauren. It's very difficult when you feel like the same people are doing it all the time for you. So if external people, and hopefully through this, as Sandra was saying, you know, if we can reach out to any little people who you know, charities or anything, or anybody who just fancies doing a little something and opening their networks up to just a few little pounds, that would be absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, every penny massively counts, and it's not just to support Nathaniel, it's to support lots of other children, you know, and families, isn't it?
Yeah, because that money does go into the Charlie Gard Foundation as a whole, and whilst they support Nathaniel, they do support other children. They do amazing things for very, very poorly children and help create special memories. And, you know, there's nothing more important than that, is there? So,
no, 100%. Massively. Well, massively thank you for sharing your story with us. Massively inspirational, as we knew you would be.
Owen Fitwell for their sponsorship as well. And she says, thanks to Fitwell for their sponsorship as well, please. That's Tim and Ian, isn't it? They're brilliant.
Okay. So we've learned all about Nathaniel. We're going to share everything. We'll share all the pages. We'll just continue doing it as we go along. Big shout out to everyone who's supported so far, and a big welcome to everyone who is going to support in the future. So we do have a red face moment, something slightly embarrassing that could have happened. People can laugh along with, not at you. I think I've been okay, apart from today. My back went into spasm in the middle of teaching the little people. I said, I did this yoga thing yesterday, and I bent down and touched my toes, and then my back went into spasm and I couldn't get up. So big shout out to all the staff at Abertnethy Primary who just helped me, because I was just couldn't move. So San, what's your red face?
Well, so last week I said, I haven't had any this for 2 weeks. And I've had 3 this week. So I'll just go with the one which I'm able to share. So I met my friend for a coffee in the Costa in Next, up in Aintree Retail Park, because she lives in Formby. So we met there halfway. And she said, I'll probably arrive the same time as you. So I'm looking out for her. And I thought, there she is. So I'm like going, yay, waving, like jumping around like an idiot. So she's driving around. And this woman come past and just went, and I thought, ooh. And it was silver. And that's when I remembered that Alex has got a new red car after me waving. And then literally the woman went like that. And then there she was coming round. And I was like, oh, no. And I thought it reminded me of you when you threw yourself on the bonnet of that car and it wasn't the person you thought it was. It's just a normal week in our lives, you know. I've had about 3 this week, I swear, but that's one I'm able to share. Some of them are obscene.
Well done. Good sharing. My Uncle Ron's listening, and my Uncle Ron says he'll have to get Mark to provide the teas and coffees at Conway. So Mark is the guy who takes he's got like a little horse box with teas and coffees to Port Sunlight, but he is actually from Conway. So we'll get my Uncle Ron on the case there. Well done. Okay. Jay, have you got a red face?
Thank you. Is that me?
Yeah.
Red face. It was last night. I was walking down. I was walking to go to by the Tesco's and that, and I was walking behind some woman, and she was just singing her head off to herself, didn't realise I was behind her, and then I've come up beside her, and I've just like, as I've come past her, like she turned around and just got a proper shock, and it made me go all embarrassed for some reason or other. We just went, it sounded bossed out love anyway, and just cracked on.
Oh, that's a good way to handle it. Brilliant. She was probably more embarrassed.
It did make me feel a little bit red-faced as well. To be fair, so, yeah.
Brilliant.
Should have just joined in with her.
What about you, Lauren?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Have you got anything, Lauren?
Oh, do you know, I can't think of any on the top of my head, but I'm a walking disaster. I trip over my own feet all the time. I'm dead clumsy. I blame it on lack of sleep because of Nathaniel. I just, honestly, walking disaster.
Oh.
Yeah, that's standard now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a walking disaster.
Yeah. Okay. We do have a shout out to the grown-ups, okay? So any grown-ups who've done phenomenal things this week, I'm going to go first. I'm going to give a shout out to my mum, to Jean, to Maggie, to Cindy, to Brenda and to Marg for their organisation of the afternoon tea. And as I said before, you know, they've raised £650 plus £100 for somebody else and £50. So they raised loads and loads of money. They are the queens. We call them the Golden Girls. They are the queens of the afternoon tea. So yeah, big shout out to all of them. It was a lovely afternoon. What about you, San?
Absolutely. Well, you robbed mine because I was going to say them as well. Oh, I know what my other red face was. It happened.
Oh, go on, share it now then.
Apparently, it's not socially acceptable when someone shows you the parents' wedding photos to say your dad looks like Fred West on that, which he did to my friend. And it just blurted out. And the dad, you know what they said? They went, well, to be fair, he looks like Harold Shipman now.
Because he's got a grey beard.
So we were howling. But yeah, that was my other red face. So I'm going to give a shout out to you guys. Okay, I'm going to give a shout out first of all to you, Lauren, who had a job as a mortgage advisor, had a baby, and has ended up meeting Matt Hancock and lobbying Parliament and striving to fight for your child on a daily basis. I'm going to give a massive shout out for you, Shay, who's obviously just a good human all-rounder with your football coaching and everything. Yeah. We just thought, oh, this isn't right. Hang on, how can we raise some money for it? And there's obviously got a like-minded group of people together, friends and people you know, to help you and support and do this for a great cause. So thank God we have people like this in our city. Shout out to you both.
Yeah, definitely. Lauren, do you want to shout out to any grown-ups?
Yeah, I've got loads. I couldn't name them all. Obviously, my mum is just amazing. I don't know where I'd be without her. She's my angel. But anyone really, a shout out to anyone who's ever helped us, anyone who's going to help us in future. Because honestly, you're just helping us to create memories and you know, you're keeping Nathaniel alive, and I couldn't ask for any more than that, could I? So my shout out to anyone who's ever helped and anyone who will help us in future. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Over to you, Shay.
Shout out to anybody who's I mentioned it in work today. Got a bit of a laugh. But so I mentioned it to everyone in work, so now that they've seen it, and if you have kept on and you've kind of tuned in, then what they do in the future, then get donating. We've got the little spotter ball going in work, so we can start sorting little things in work and that. So yeah, or just anybody who spoke to about the fundraiser and have signed on to do it. It'll be great for them. It's great to see everybody there. Thank you very much. Definitely. Nice one to me, Arthur, and me Martha out me week as well. So nice one to them. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done to them. And a big shout out to Bev. So Bev just sent us a little message saying, please, can you share this? Yeah. And from that, you've been able to come on and join us tonight. So massive shout out, to Bev as well. So that's cool. Big shout out. We've got loads of cool humans in our lives. So book, podcast that you're reading or listening to that might be inspirational for others. San, are you reading or listening to anything?
So did I tell you last week that I was listening to I was reading Teach on Your Own Terms?
Yeah. How are you getting on with it?
The question one. Yeah, ready. Read
Oh,
super, yeah, it was a dead light read, read super fast, so that's done now. But it was quite inspiring, really, and it's given me a bit of confidence because, you know, if I won the lottery, I'd do what I do for nothing, because I just love languages and I love helping people speak languages and all the rest of it. But it made me sort of say, no, I need to ask for this amount and you know, be brave about stuff and everything. So it's just cool. It's a really good book and I really enjoyed it. I think it applies to a lot of things though, not just teaching. So it was very, very interesting. So I need a new one for next week now.
Oh, okay.
What about you? What are you reading at the minute or listening to?
So I'm reading The Sensory Circuit, which is about so I've read it before and I'm rereading it. So the Family Fit program that I do with children with disabilities, for the families to all work out together. I'm just rereading it because I'm going to go and do some training down in Worcester in a couple of weeks. So I'm just rereading it because I know it in my head. To then explain to somebody else is very because I know it so well in my head then to explain it. So I'm just rereading it for that. So it's phenomenal. And, you know, the benefit of exercise to people is just amazing. But I'm listening to a podcast called The Compound Effect.
Right.
And I think I mentioned it last week, but I hadn't started it. I think the guy's name is Dan Hardy or something like that. And it's about, I listened to the High Performance Podcast. The High Performance Podcast talk about the 1%. So what are the 1% that you do every day that others don't see?
Yeah.
And it's the 1% that matter. Well, the compound effect is doing those 1% consistently forever. And he said this mad thing. So it was like, if you stop 125 calories a day, okay, so not a lot of 125 calories, and you have to do it for 31, so like 31 months he was talking about. And if you stopped 125 calories for 31 months, in 31 months, you'd have lost about 3.5 stone. If you've carried on with your life the way you are, you'd be exactly the same. But if you decided, you said, oh, sack it, I'm not going for the gym or I'm not going to eat, you'd be 3 stone heavier. And he talks about these 3 friends. So one of them had put 3 stone on, one had lost 3 stone. So that's a net 6 stone, isn't it? And one had just potted along in his life. So he said, because you don't notice the 1% every day, people get fed up. So they do it for so long and then they go, oh, I can't notice this. So they go, oh, I'll just stop doing it. But if you carry it on, and so it's really, really interesting. So I'm listening to that, but I'm actually hooked on it. It's really, really good. So yeah, I've got some little 1% going on myself.
So Helen always recommends stuff that I listen. So she reads it, then I read it or listen to it. Really good recommendations.
Yeah. Lauren, I know you haven't got a lot of time, but are you listening or reading anything?
No, so like you say, I don't have a lot of time for listening or reading, but I would like to mention, you know, I know a lot of inspirational people. I mentioned Hannah earlier before. So there's a few pages that people might want to follow in line with what we've been talking about, and it's inspirational parents doing inspirational things and educating people on predominantly medical cannabis, but epilepsy and how to handle it as well. So there's the End Our Pain campaign, which I am a member of. There's another one called MedCan. So that's short for medical cannabis, and that's parents really wanting to help people struggling at the moment. And then there's my friend Hannah Deacon. She has a page which is called Alfie's Hope, and it's all just inspirational people doing good things. So yeah,
brilliant,
sharing knowledge as well. And Helen, just to say about the 100 odd calories a day, as Uncle Ron did say last week, I was wasting away. Wait till you see me in 3 years, Uncle Ron.
Shay, do you listen to any podcasts or read any books or anything that anyone can listen to?
Funny enough, the story you've just been telling there, I started reading Atomic Habits, and it's very similar. It's also along along the route of the cycling, because they use the Great British Cycling Squad as an example, and it's about making every single element 1% better, and over a long period of time, or over a perpetual motion. Basically, it makes everything. And they went from being a no name GB squad to being the best in the world by far. So that's what we're aiming for. Everybody
Yeah.
in this room,
Brilliant. We've got athletes now, so you come on our show, and next thing they'll be in the Olympics laughing.
Everyone comes on our show, and next minute they're on the telly, whatever. Except, honest to God.
Brilliant. Okay. We're going to hand it over to Lauren and Shay. Massive thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your stories. We'll share everything on the page. We'll get behind you as much as we possibly can. Yeah. Massive thank you to Sandra, as always. And we're going to give it over to you for a closing quote or mantra that you want to close the show with.
Shay.
Do you want to go or do you want me to?
No, go on, you go, Shay.
Smile, because it's dead infectious.
Yeah.
I like that.
Brilliant. If somebody hasn't got one, give them one of yours.
Oh,
okay, thank you very much, and we will see everybody next week. Thank